love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, just give me up, don't back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so what? You're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong. You will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't be scared. Just give me up. Don't be
Right. Hi, everybody. We're going to try and run through this. It's not going to be good. I give you heads up. My computer right now, due to the PSU issue, is barely functioning when it comes to the load of... it's pretty annoying, actually. I did get it stable to some extent, but it is still simultaneously struggling quite significantly and makes it that much more difficult to have a live or just converse in a straight sort of forward manner, convey a point that really sort of makes me lose my train of thought every 4 seconds. So it's extremely difficult to have a cohesive live, and I'm actually considering not to have them until I get fixed, until I have everything fixed. Now, actually, ironically, it is sort of cooperating. Again, I had to sort of tame down the system now to try and make it function. Overall, one of the main reasons why there's not so much to say, and I don't think it's all that so crucial for today, because I did prepare everybody for these upcoming sessions far in advance. As you can see, the screen now is basically stuck, and I'm staring at it for it to have any change, and then it takes a while to upload. So that is a again, some weird combination of TradingView not really functioning well. I'm not sure really how and why, because again, it's partially working, partially not working. So yeah, it's a bit problematic. Since I do have that half a minute or however long it's gonna take, everybody join the Patreon, join the community, of course. Normally, we do have plenty of community meetings on which, of course, we discuss the upcoming sessions, the market sentiment, the momentum, everything. So yeah, as you can see, this is barely, I can't call this functional. So let's try on a different chart. This chart is a lot, it's somewhat less loaded, but I mean, let's try. Let me try and sort of get my point across. So the momentum is pretty shitty. Overall, everybody is hyper focused on what is sort of what the latest sessions brought, and everybody is hyper excited. Oh, look at that! We warned about this, that it might end up sort of having that a rally to the upside, and I said, look, like it doesn't seem like we're gonna meet the price action, or at least the range is right there on that top, but rather curve to this side. And as we can see, we kind of got exactly that, moving into the corner, it seems, and then eventually we're about to break over at some point soon. Why? Because, well, if we're looking at the overall sentiment, the overall momentum, nothing really changed. I mean, literally nothing has changed. Everything we've been seeing for the past several months and been preparing for the last several sessions still stands exactly as it was. To make the mark, it's like almost, you know, a tiny little person walking up to a tanker, giving it a little push, and then asking, have I done anything? So no, the market hasn't done anything too surprising. We ended up retesting a median right now, when we're continuing slowly, of course, to deteriorate and break down. That momentum is being lost. We are slowly moving again, retesting median, and slowly we'll be moving into the sort of narrower range you can see on the price range. It's 20. It's a very tight range. So basically, we're looking at daily intermissions, minutes sort of range, and larger range at the same time. Having three of these formations kind of over each other really give us a good perception of the direction of the price action, right? The channel, if you will. I cannot get it to work. Here you go. Thank you. So as we've been talking about the daily channel that has not yet been readjusted, that's due to the lack of that price action to sort of convey the idea of the change, the process we're having, right? We're moving to the downside, and we are retesting, sort of transitioning from that daily trend that we had in the longer run into the newer range, which will slowly and eventually will be readjusted once we acquire enough price points and actual data points. So we'll be able to rely on that to create a new channel. For the time being, it's kind of just getting sort of stuck into that wedge that we're having, right? Potentially retest at a later stage back to that 52 when we'll be moving, but then I'll be subsequently after testing 5,000 maybe. So we are kind of slowly going to deteriorate into that structure within the following sessions. In fact, the structure as it was last week, we suspected it's going to start happening this week. We are kind of slightly behind. The market is not sexy. I don't agree with you, Gene. It's very sexy. It allows people to pick up at a nice price. All we've done, really, if you objectively look at it, let me just sort of, pardon me, it seems that for some reason I went with a darker theme there. So basically what we're seeing is a retest. We've created a gap, right, during that process when we moved from here to here. We've created a significant gap, so it's not all that surprising that the market retested back to that very same level, 38.27, potentially allowing people to rebuy, first of all, and retesting these very same levels that from before, sort of consolidating into that wedge formation before continuing to move up. So it's not all that weird, especially given that these things move at a rate of 10%, 15% on a good day. So that's pretty normal. I mean, given one good day and a half, it's all forgotten about. So pretty sexy, I would say. It's pretty sexy to those who know what to focus on. Again, some get super hyper excited about Tesla doing that. Guys, it's just a closure of the gap. I mean, Jesus, we've been speaking about these gaps forever and a bit. It's pretty damn simple. At this stage, we are looking at, what did I just do? Not what I wanted, definitely. So we're looking at Nvidia retesting that 100 level, now kind of slowly moving below, very similar, again, sort of sideways price action. So not all that surprising within the context of what we're talking about. We're kind of laying down, flattening down into that 5200 that we suspected to be a relatively strong support resistance level. But overall, we will end up, I think, or at least based upon the assessments here, we'll see that in a second, still will end up moving towards 5,800 towards the end of the month. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more trading days, if I'm not mistaken, if there's not anything in between there. And so during these sessions, we can easily sort of plow through that 5,200. The problem is, based upon how the market is sort of structured and behaving at the moment, it's not going to be all that surprising if it will retest 5,200 post that next drop. The thing is, it's not reliable. Any movement to the upside is not reliable, so I myself would not rely on it. As we said, this candlestick will readjust multiple times. We still have supposedly 8 days, again, not including weekends. So as we concluded, we have roughly about 6 days all in all. And based upon the structure, we are continuing to the downside into the oversold territory. And the very next candlestick is going to be one of the more painful ones, bringing us closer to the oversold territory, potentially decimating another year and a half, half a year, whatever, within a month or so. So everybody who is too hyper excited, we need to understand that what you're seeing here is not a secret to the bots. It's not a secret to the various analysts in the industry. So guess what? They're planning an action based upon this structure, and might pull the rug from underneath your feet before you're prepared. They're gonna do it at the end of the month. No, the market doesn't care about that sort of about the chronology we apply to the end of the month. Sure, we may have a little bit more volume, closing more trades, closing options and whatnot, and all sorts of factors that may play into the everyday day-to-day volatility, right? But overall, that's not going to be anything too significant or substantially going to change the thesis or the structure as it stands, because to change this, you need basically I don't even know what you need. You need, like I said, fairy dust. We are moving to the downside on the 3-month structure. Of course, this month, once it's closed, potentially will give us pardon me, I'm so sorry, another readjustment of the stochastic RSI, pointing further to the downside. Given this price action and the price action we're seeing up to come, it will look even more negative, closing closer to that 50 range, becoming fully negative, fully bearish. So basically what you can see is that we've ended up having potentially that period to be bullish, but from here on out, everything else will become truly bearish. Of course, since we're already overturned, we are more so bearish than bullish. But as this accelerates to the bottom and we just kind of see this crossover on this side of things, and of course the divergence, as it will increase, potentially we will see even further hints of acceleration and worsening momentum, which we already spoke about multiple times. Once breaking these short range channels, of course, some of the psychological of levels of 4,500, 5,000 itself is very strong, I would argue. Potentially we're gonna end up retesting that 4,500 back to that 47, that which will be posing the support and resistance levels for the next several months. So those who will be asking me every other day, where are we headed for the next months, we will be first of all establishing 47 sort of as a ground, and then more so potentially moving and establishing 4,500 and moving between these levels for several months. So like I said, this whole process is going to be very long. I feel like everybody's in too much of a rush and feel like there's a change every other day, maybe to the day-to-day volatility. But since, first of all, I know I'm not going to be able to go live every day, and it's very unfortunate. I really do want to, but it is really difficult to kind of keep cohesive points as I run through the material, simply because of the difficulties of how badly the computer is working. And you guys really underestimate how much I had to sort of black computer voodoo magic I had to make it sort of, have done in order for it to be semi-stable as is. And as you can see, some charts eventually, although I mean, it takes it about an hour. Oh, you see, sometimes they do react, but then again, they don't bring up all the data that I need to see right away, and then I sit there for an hour waiting. That is a bit problematic. 2.5 drawings, and the chart goes bananas. So that's a problem. It's not really practical, as you can see. I can't really go over the assets, boys and girls. It's going to be a torture. I mean, I've tried before. There's a reason why we have a couple of them already preset sort of on the chart. We spoke about gold today in the community. I know it's very unfortunate. Some of you may be going to join the community. Some of the students who are missing out on sessions this week. I know it's very unfortunate. I am so sorry. The intention was to improve. I actually bought that power supply to have sort of the computer run smoother because the power demand is quite high. Ended up, shooting myself in the leg because there's a procedure, there's a process, and what I've done is I sort of done it backwards, and I didn't want to create an inconvenience at home with regards to my brother's computer, to whom I was transferring my older PSU, the one that I had in my build at the time, and the one that was being replaced by the newer one, which ended up not working, and now I have ordered a new one, home delivery and everything, and I'm waiting for it to arrive. As soon as it arrives, roughly within several hours, everything should be fine. Hopefully, if it arrives functional within several hours, I'll have my computer up and running with most of everything, at least to a stable point where I'll be able to have the calls and everything, and then I'll sort of end up completing the process over the weekend. Those who know, it usually is quite a saga. It's a process, making sure all the drivers set well, and sometimes it requires multiple reinstalls. So yeah, we'll see. I'm also considering a shift over to Windows 11 nowadays. So we'll see how things will pan out. But hopefully, by Monday next week, we're all back on track and everything is back to normal. Hopefully. I really am doing my best. I will mention to those who are here that I still have 2 spots for my one-on-one academy available. Don't miss out. I'm probably having here 2.5 people, and all of them are from the community anyways, but still I have to mention it's really important for you guys to be in the know when it comes to why the market does what it does, what are the cycles, and I teach all that in the community, right, on the Discord. Let me just brag for half a second. Let me show you real quick. We have here all sorts of cool stuff, various channels. I'm not gonna go over all the channels, but you can kind of see the variety of channels and topics we have here. The most important, I was told to show, of course, is the Academy members who finished the Academy, the one-on-one Academy. I highly recommend you guys join in and read those. You can ask me about the one-on-one Academy via the ticket here if you haven't yet moved in. By the way, these people are kind of stuck in limbo, cannot really see the actual content of the Discord. And of course, highly recommended for all of you who are in the Discord and can see everything and all that beautiful stuff. Of course, join in and the Academy, so you'll be in the know. You'll know exactly how to analyze the market. You'll not be as dependent as other people on talking heads, the media, myself, or again, you'll be independent. You'll be able to analyze the market on your own, judge whether you want to take action, whether where the market is headed for the near term, long term, short term future. Up to you, and of course, take action if you find necessary. Up to you. Right? It's not about trading nor timing the market. It's about truly giving the market a proper analysis, basically measuring and understanding how things work in order for you to be able to do it on your own. All right, so that's kind of the gist of it all. I'm sorry again, the lives are not as normal right now, very late, and just I can't really run through all the stocks and stuff. I get it. It's a bummer. I get it, right? You can see I'm not happy about this circumstance myself. Very difficult, like I said, to keep my points cohesive. But it is what it is. On overall, I will still remind you, boys and girls, that not a lot has changed. Pretty much everything stands as it was. And just, be patient. None of these things really care about how anxious you are, right? How emotional you are about the market. Really, it's about the grand scale and grand scheme of things. That's it, boys and girls. I think that's all for today. I would gladly do a lot more, but as you see, my system is barely functioning as is. And it's really difficult to keep my points cohesive, as I said. Overall, green, right, on all fronts, not too strong, not too weak. We were seeing roughly around 2 to 3% on most fronts. I mean, pretty decent, but if you're looking at the actual prices, right, and you look at the price action that's been taking place in the recent months, all it is a tiny little correction on a sea of red, tiny little green dot on, a droplet, if you will, in a sea of red. So that's all it is. Look at everything within the right context of things, right? Alrighty, that is it. I mean, again, in no time, boys and girls, I promise you everything will be back to normal. We'll be doing and having our lives. And of course, I am trying to make something cohesive and valuable for the community ad free. I am working on it very hard right now. Coda, hello. Joni, hello. Jean, hello. All of you, by the way. Denny, Sky. I know it's disappointing, guys. It's really difficult for me as well. So please bear with me. It's not pleasant. In no time, we will be back to normal. I really can't have anything on the chart. As soon as I start adding stuff, it just goes bananas and just gets stuck for hours on end. Some of you don't realize even this chart is basically naked, like 90% naked, and anything that I add really complicates the. As you can see, just gets stuck. The data doesn't want to load up. Yeah. Yeah, great pleasure, right? Great fun trying to work like this. But all in all, I mean, you kind of see on the screen right now. That's the main point. And some of my members actually said that there is a very high probability that we'll end up closing this gap. I honestly was too hyper focused on everything that I had to take care of earlier today. So all sorts of errands to make sure things will, work. So I wasn't able to focus on the analysis too much. But I didn't think they were wrong. Again, they kind of know their stuff. I kind of taught them, so they know how to analyze. And turns out my students were all correct, and they figured out that the market will close that gap above, and it did so. Perfect analysis on behalf of my members, and you see that's the value. That's the real value. They don't necessarily need me when things go awry on my side. They are able to survive on their own. They're independent, like I'm saying. Alrighty, boys and girls, that is it for today for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th time. I promise. Soon back to normal. Soon back to normal. Please bear with me in these unpleasant times. I'll see you on the next one. I'll see you on the Discord. I'll see you in the community.